Water is the lifeblood of nations. Along the U.S. Mexico border, it's not just a resource, it's a matter of survival. Since 1944, an international treaty has governed how the two countries share water from the Rio Grande and Colorado rivers. But today, as climate change, drought, and political tensions escalate, this treaty faces major challenges. Why is water becoming a new battleground? What are the latest developments in this decades-old agreement? And what does this mean for the millions of people who rely on these rivers? Let's dive deep into the history, the controversy, and the future of the U.S. Mexico Water Treaty. To understand the current crisis, we need to go back to 1944. The United States and Mexico signed a treaty to share two major rivers, the Rio Grande and the Colorado. The goal was simple: ensure both countries had fair access to these critical water supplies while fostering international cooperation. And the United States agreed to send 1.5 million acre-feet of Colorado River water to Mexico each year. Mexico agreed to deliver 350,000 acre-feet of water annually from its tributaries to the Rio Grande. The treaty established the International Boundary and Water Commission, IBWC, to oversee compliance. For decades, this system worked, but today, this agreement is under immense strain. 1. Climate change and drought. Climate change is making it harder for both nations to meet their treaty obligations. Mexico is facing some of its worst drought conditions in history, with reservoirs at record lows. This has made it increasingly difficult for Mexico to send its required water quota to the U.S. Mexico's reservoirs are at less than 50% capacity in many regions. The U.S. is also suffering from record low water levels in the Colorado River. The Rio Grande has almost dried up in parts of Texas, devastating farmers. 2. Political and economic pressures. Water isn't just a natural resource, it's a political weapon. In 2025, tensions between the U.S. and Mexico over water are growing. The U.S. argues that Mexico is failing to meet its obligations, while Mexico claims it's impossible to do so given its own water crisis. U.S. farmers in Texas say they are losing crops due to Mexico's shortfalls. Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum argues that extreme drought makes meeting the treaty requirements difficult. U.S. officials recently denied Mexico's request for a special water delivery channel from the Colorado River to Tijuana. 3. The wastewater controversy. Another U.S.-Mexico water battle. On top of water shortages, there's another crisis: pollution. The U.S. has been pressuring Mexico to stop wastewater from Tijuana from contaminating U.S. beaches. San Diego residents have seen massive sewage spills from Mexico, forcing beach closures and health risks. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, is demanding Mexico fix its failing wastewater systems. The pollution is worsening U.S.-Mexico relations, adding to water tensions. Some U.S. officials are linking compliance with the water treaty to Mexico's handling of pollution. Despite these challenges, solutions are possible. In late 2024, U.S. and Mexican officials reached a temporary agreement to allow Mexico more flexibility in meeting its water obligations. But long-term solutions will require even bigger steps. 1. Improved water management. Both countries are investing in desalination plants to turn seawater into drinking water. The U.S. and Mexico are considering new reservoir projects to store more water. Smarter irrigation techniques could help conserve water for farmers. 2. Treaty renegotiation. Some politicians are calling for updates to the 1944 treaty to reflect modern climate challenges. Mexico wants a more flexible quota system that accounts for extreme droughts. U.S. lawmakers want stricter penalties for non-compliance. If you live in the U.S. or Mexico, this issue affects you more than you think. Millions of Americans rely on water from these treaty agreements for drinking, farming, and industry. Water shortages could raise food prices, making groceries more expensive. Environmental damage could lead to permanent river declines and ecological disasters. This isn't just about politics. It's about the future of water security for both nations. The U.S.-Mexico Water Treaty was meant to bring stability, but in 2025, it's at a crossroads. With climate change, political tensions, and growing demand, both nations must decide. Will they work together or face a worsening water crisis? What do you think? Should the treaty be renegotiated? Should Mexico be sanctioned for missing its obligations? Or should both sides find new ways to cooperate? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more international news updates.